Hiya guys, and welcome back to Twisted Locker, your definitive horror podcast. Today we're taking a trip back to the 90s, arguably one of the coolest decades ever. We had movie icons like Tarantino, epic bands like Oasis, comedy smash hits like Friends, and let's not forget Spice World the movie.
Which I saw in a cinema, yeah. And I was with a girlfriend, right? I didn't go.
Thank God.
I didn't go with a bunch of mates, and it was fucking shit. It was awful. Somebody was kicking my seat, and I didn't care.
Kick it harder if anything.
That movie was so cursed because originally they had Gary Glitter. Now, for American viewers, just Google Gary Glitter, and you know that's why they had to get rid of him as quick as they could.
Yeah.
From the film. They replaced him with Frank Bruno.
Frank Bruno.
Yeah. I know.
What a contrast.
I know, yeah. Right,
like I said, guys, we've got our top 10 90s video today. I've got a list of 10. Jenks has got a list of 10. I don't know what his is. He doesn't know what mine is. And if you do enjoy the video, guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, number 10. It's an awesome film. It's very underrated. It's Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. I love this movie. It is very underrated, isn't it? Yes, a lot of people don't know it exists. It's probably one of his best films. And it's about a poor little boy who's got no money, and he breaks into this big house looking for treasure or money. And there's some horrible people own it, and it's all crawl spaces and all shit goes on. It's brilliant. And it's got Vin Rames, and there's a guy in a gimp suit in it. And I bet you any money, because it came out before Pulp Fiction. When Pulp Fiction came out, he's probably thinking, oh, no, not another gimp. No.
Bring out the gimp.
Yeah. About what's worse, Pulp Fiction is even worse, like for what happens with the gimp.
Yeah.
Yeah, People Under the Stairs.
Cracking pick, Jenks. I highly believe, right, that Don't Breathe was inspired by People Under the Stairs. There's loads of similarities in that one.
Yes, great.
Fantastic pick. 10th spot for me, I've got 1990s Tremors. I wouldn't say underrated, but it's nowhere near as admired as much as it should be.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of this movie. It's a low concept film, sort of like a B-movie concept. We've got Kevin Bacon and what's his name?
Fred
Ward.
Fred Ward.
They're just two best friends who live in the desert, and they're being hunted by these graboids that travel under the sand. Yeah. This is a top-class film. I hated putting it at 10, but something had to go last.
Good, right. Number 9, another underrated movie. I think it was a hit when it came out. I'm not sure with the box office numbers. It's The Devil's Advocate. It starred Keanu Reeves as a lawyer, as if. Can he spell his own name? And Al Pacino as the devil. That's all I got to say about it. Al Pacino hams it up in this movie. He is perfect as the devil. The ultimate, like, if you're in an elevator pitch, Al Pacino's the devil, sold. Yeah?
Yes, 100%.
It's an awesome film. And Charlize Theron as well, isn't it? It's great.
Cracking pick, Jenks. Not one I would have actually thought of putting on you, but I am a fan of that film.
Yeah.
And it goes to show, right, how much of a class that Keanu Reeves is. He took a pay cut on that film so the studio could afford Al Pacino.
Do you know, that man can do everything apart from act. I'm slagging him off. I love him. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. He's great at what he does.
Yeah, he's like Schwarzenegger. He is what he is, That's simple as that. Colin Firth couldn't have been in The Predator, or Daniel Day-Lewis couldn't have been the Terminator. Yeah, it is what it is. Right, number 8.
Wait there, I haven't said my 9th.
Oh, sorry.
He's skipping my 9.
Viewers, I promise these will get better. All right.
They're squirmy and wormy and purple and green.
Jumping straight to 8. It just goes to show, Jenks, you don't care about my opinions.
No, I just want to get mine out.
In 9th place, I've got the iconic 1992 Candyman, created one of the most iconic monsters ever. We've got Candyman, played by Tony Todd. It's just a shame that this is one of the most mishandled franchises ever. There's one extremely solid film, and it's one of my favourite movies from the 90s. But it's just a shame those sequels and that remake sequel type thing, awful.
Yeah, well, I love that film. Yeah, it's
What a
awesome.
waste. He's so iconic.
I
The
know.
hook, the jacket, his
He,
voice,
he's not scary as such. He's just got a great presence, isn't he?
presence.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
100%.
okay, at number 8, it's Wes Craven's Scream. 2 Wes Cravens on one list. I mean, I'm not even a massive fan of his, but Scream is so brilliant. Uh, it's very iconic. He created an amazing character called Ghostface, and it's one of the most consistent franchises ever, easily. And I love it. And it's much more violent than you think. You always think it's a kind of a teen romp, and you go back to the first one, you think, "Fuck, has this always been this violent with a
Yeah.
really aggressive stabbing?" Yeah, it's a cracker. Stab. That's where it comes from.
Cracking pick. Right, in 8th place, and I'm going to say my 8th choice, right? We've got Rob Reiner's 1990 thriller masterpiece, Misery. Not necessarily a fully fledged horror, but there's enough in there for it to be classed as
Yeah.
a horror. It was written by Stephen King, and Kathy Bates turns in an Oscar-winning performance as Annie Wilkes. This is one of the finest thrillers, horrors, whatever you want to call it. It is one of the finest movies ever made. It's one I go back to a lot. Huge fan of this one.
Yeah, I love it. Right, number 7, it's Tremors. Yeah,
Nice.
I love it a bit more than you. More of a fan, if you want to say that. Yeah, I love this film. I saw it when it first came out on video when nobody knew what it was. When at the time when you're renting films.
Oh, sorry, gatekeeper. I
uh,
was there from the beginning.
yes. It was one of the years ago when videos were out, you didn't know because you didn't have the internet whether it was a straight to video or something
Yes.
good. So
Yeah.
I had it on a whim, and it was awesome. I love it. I love Tremors. Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, absolute cracking pick, Jenks.
What's your 7th then?
Right. In 7th place, I've got a little bit higher than you, Jenks. I've got Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. This is my favourite Wes Craven movie, and it's one of my favourite movies. Like you said, Jenks, it's an absolute masterful movie that gets nowhere near enough love.
Yeah,
Huge
you're right.
fan of this one.
At number 6 is Candyman. This list is turned out to be really fucking boring. The 80s one, I think we did a lot of different ones, right? But this one,
so stacked. 90s, it's
yeah, you're right. Maybe it wasn't a very good decade, I think, and the good ones really stood out. But the Candyman, I love it. I haven't seen the remake. I don't intend to. I can't be bothered. It's made by Nia DaCosta, who made the fucking Marvels. Now, she may be awesome. I don't know, but I'm not watching a remake. I can't be bothered. Yeah, but I love Candyman.
Yeah, cracking pick. In 6th place, I know I literally just said that People Under the Stairs is my favourite Wes Craven movie, but I've got 1996's Scream, a slot higher. Now, I love this franchise, and that's why Scream gets the higher spot, because it did spawn one of the most iconic slashers of all time.
Yep.
And it's definitely one of the most consistent franchises. We've got Wes Craven directing the first 4. That is unheard of for a director to stick to one franchise for as long as that.
And have the same cast.
Yeah, exactly. Absolute top class franchise. There's not much more I can say about this one.
It's up there with like Police Academy for me. Where they change the cast every few years. Right. At number 5, we're in the big leagues now. From Dusk Till Dawn. I love this film. Okay. I think it's awesome. It's the ultimate splice movie where you got the first half of the Tarantino sort of crime romp with George Clooney, and you got the second half of balls to the wall vampire horror, brain dead level of gore and practical effects. I love it, and I wish they made more films like this where they have completely spliced. But I think they don't exist very much because it's very hard to market these sort of things, and people want to give everything away in the trailer, and they're too afraid to do anything secretive. Right?
Well, I've got 2 glasses of Sunfizz coming right up.
Sunfizz, that's our favorite!
But I love it,
100%, because a massive part of the film is the reveal in the second half. How do you promote that and get people to watch the film and be surprised?
Yeah.
I'm chuffed to see that one so high up for you, Jenks.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right, in 5th place, I've got 1991's Silence of the Lambs, breaking right into the top 5. This is one of the finest movies ever made. You've got Jodie Foster playing Clarice Starling, Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter,
And he's Welsh,
and he's Welsh.
if you didn't know.
And one of the most iconic killers, we've got Buffalo Bill.
Yes.
As iconic as they come. I'm a huge fan of this film.
I know Silence of the Lambs is a really serious film, but did you know that Chris Griffin from Family Guy based his voice on Buffalo Bill because he could do a good
Really?
impersonation of him, yeah, and he toned it down, and that became Chris Griffin. So
That's quite funny because in the Family Guy episode where they spoof Silence of the Lambs,
Yeah.
he plays Buffalo Bill. There's obviously a callback to that.
Yeah,
I can hear it now. Thinking of it, I can hear it. Yeah,
and he saw like his worlds apart in there, the two characters.
yeah.
Right. Have you done your 5?
No, yes, I'm going into 4
Silence of the
now.
Lambs. Number 4 is the Blair Witch Project. I couldn't have it not in my top 5 if I got a fucking tattoo of the Blair Witch. I'd have to sand it off. This fucking shit. Blair Witch Project. I talk about this a lot. I love this film. It started the birth of all these found footage films, and there hasn't been a lot of bad found footage films, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like I did think the other day about making a list of the worst found footage because we did a best. I struggled, to be honest. It's not as easy as you think.
There's a lot of solid ones. I think it's quite hard to make a bad one because the production value is so low.
Yes. But yeah, that's my number 4. I love it. I'm not gonna say a lot about this, but they're stuck in the woods, they're looking for a witch, and all hell breaks loose. That's pretty much it.
Cracking pick. And I love Adam Wingard's sequel as well.
Yes.
Right, in 4th place, and my top 4 now are top tier films, and I forgot how good the 90s was. I always go back to the 80s and say 80s was the best, but my top 4 now are probably in my top 10 favourite movies of all time.
Yeah.
So in 4th place, I've got 1998's The Faculty, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Came right at the end of that phase in the 90s where we had all these cool teen slashers, and it kind of failed for those reasons because there was a bit of fatigue. But it's become a bit of a cult classic. It's basically Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but set in a high school.
Yeah.
Their teachers get overtaken by these aliens, and it's got one of the coolest casts, and it's one of my favourite movies of all time. Huge fan.
I love this. Do you know what? When I was researching this, I had to go. I tried to remember as much as I could, but it's very hard. So I went on the internet. I typed in horror. Faculty didn't come up because it's in sci-fi, and I don't think it would have made my top 10, but I'm disappointed that it wasn't even mentioned. But yeah,
yes,
it's
definitely
a great film. Yeah, good choice. Right, number 3, Event Horizon, from the makers of Resident Evil 6 comes Event
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, not the new one. I love Event Horizon. I think it's beloved by most. I don't think it's underrated. I think everybody is very on board that this is one of the best horrors, and a bit of a splice horror in space. I know Alien,
but this is like fully fledged horror,
full on horror, supernatural. Is this ship gone to hell, or is it just gone to some weird dimension that we can't understand? But either way, it's awesome. I love it. Yeah,
I can't think of many movies set in space that are like fully fledged horror movies.
Yeah. I know.
Like it's hard to call it a sci-fi.
You'd think they were churned out a lot more. I know there's probably a lot of video games, but you'd think like after the success, you're thinking everybody be doing it, but it's the best.
Yeah. I know that one's become a bit of a cult classic.
Yeah.
Right, in 3rd place, one of the all-time great gore movies, and I've got Peter Jackson's 1992 gore masterpiece, Brain Dead. One of the funnest movies you will ever watch.
Yes.
If you haven't seen this one, it's a bit of an underrated one, and it's not talked about nowhere near enough. But if you haven't seen this one, in America, it's called Dead Alive. I got a poster up there, and I've usually got a little baby Selwyn on the side here. I absolutely adore this film. I watched it way too young. I don't want to say too much about it.
Cereal, and you'll love it instantly.
Honey bunches of oats? You're not going to convince me.
And all hell breaks loose, and it's a bit of a zombie movie with a shit ton of gore, and it held the record at one point for the most blood used in one scene.
And it's very inspired by Evil Dead 2. And I got to say, I watched it about a year ago. I haven't seen it for years. And the practical effects were like, for me, were like magic tricks, because I knew there was no computer effects. And like there was one where there was a light bulb in his head or something.
The light bulb, yeah.
That is incredible trick.
On a shoestring budget as well. And they had a very small team.
Yeah, it's excellent. And Peter Jackson went on to make Lord of the Rings. You know, you could see, same as, Sam Raimi, these guys, all these indie horror, they know how to use effects well, practical effects, and they go on to big things.
Yes, 100%.
Number 2, it's The Sixth Sense. This film is awesome. It almost made my number 1 spot. But it hasn't got as much rewatch value. But I love it. It's a great twist. If you haven't seen it, why? It's fucking awesome. It's got a little boy who can see dead people. It's very popular. I can't be bothered to talk about it because everybody's seen The Sixth Sense. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sick of hearing about it as well, to be honest. I kind of forgot that Sixth Sense was a 90s film. It's got to be like 99.
99, yeah.
99, yeah. Oh, I thought it was 2000s, yeah.
I hope it's not.
Shit.
And number 2, Faculty will just check it on.
Yeah.
Edit it.
Right, in second place, I've got Robert Rodriguez's 1996 From Dusk Till Dawn, written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez. This has always been a film that I constantly go back to. It's a film I don't need a break from. I can watch it day after day after day. I recently rewatched it in a sold-out cinema like 2 weeks ago, and it was one of the greatest experiences I ever had.
Yeah.
I love this film, and Tarantino is brilliant in it. I think he doesn't get enough credit.
Yes.
He's not a great actor, but he plays this role perfectly because he's a really awkward guy. George Clooney plays one of the coolest gangsters of all time. He's a lot nicer than his brother. He just wants to get the job done and get out of there. And obviously then, like you said, Jenks, we get to the titty twister and it's balls to the wall. You've got Tom Savini, Fred Williamson, some of the coolest cast ever.
Yes.
And I'll be meeting Tom Savini in 2 months.
Awesome.
Get in! I can't wait.
Yes, Tarantino in it, because at the time, obviously he was famous for Pulp Fiction, but a lot of people didn't know what he looked like.
Yes.
And people just thought, oh, this guy's a really good, creepy paedophile actor, a rapist. It's awesome.
It's
right.
one of the greatest movies ever made.
Number 1. It's already been mentioned. Misery. It's my number 1 spot. I love this film. I know you mentioned earlier it's not quite a horror, but horror is such a broad sort of term,
Yes.
I love it. It's horrifying. I've seen the play. I've read the book. I've and I've seen the movie. And I would say the movie is better in some respects than the book, because the book is a little bit too violent.
Yes. She runs over someone with a sit-down lawnmower.
Yeah, it's too much. And she chops his foot off. It's too much.
Yeah.
The sledgehammer scene is still one of the best horrifying scenes. No matter how many times you've seen that moment when the music's playing and she's monologuing about what they should do to people. I can't remember what she says now, but she sledgehammers his leg. I think sledgehammering and ruining his foot is much better than chopping it off, because I think chopped off feet means like, oh, just kill me. It's too much.
Yeah, but it's gone then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too much.
If you've got damage inside and your foot's still there, that's way worse.
Yes, exactly. And it's amazing. I love it. And Kathy, like you said, Kathy Bates, one of my favourite villains ever. Brilliant actress. And I love her in The Office as well. She's so good. Yeah, I love her.
Do you know Bruce Willis has played Paul Sheldon on Broadway?
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool. Right, what's your number 1 then?
Number 1 spot. I'm sure it's not a mystery to you, Jenks. And I will say, right, I had a row and I was told I wasn't allowed to wear my number 1 spot on my T-shirt.
Yeah. Even
though I've got a poster there. We've got...
I didn't give you a row. It was a suggestion. Right.
We've got... I wanted to wear it, okay? We've got 1992's Sam Raimi's... That felt weird. Sam Raimi's 1992 cult favourite, Army of Darkness. We have already dropped a video on this one. You can see our full review and our thoughts on the movie. You can see Jenks slag it off and me adore it. But this is one of the best movies ever made. Now, like I've said in the other video, it's not my favourite Evil Dead movie. Evil Dead 2 is there by far.
Yeah.
But it's my favourite Ash, and it's the one I go back to more, and it's the one I've always had more fun with. I used to love it when I was a kid, and I still love it now.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah.
There we are, guys. That's all we got time for today. We hope you enjoyed our lists. And if you let us know what yours are in the comments, give us your top 10. Go on.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.